Hello, and welcome back to the continuing adventures of Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars. I am Tom Merritt. Of course, if you're unfamiliar, this is my attempt to watch all the Star Wars movies as if I know nothing about them. And Rogue One poses an interesting conundrum because episodes 1 through 7, I just watched in order. 1 through 7, right? Now, if I were to continue that with Rogue One, I'd have to pretend like I'd just seen episode 3, and this was somehow episode 3.5. But it doesn't say that, so if I'm dumb, I don't know to watch it between 3 and 4. Anyway, what I've decided to do is just pretend I'm dumb about Star Wars and have watched all 7, and this is a new movie. I hear there's a new Star Wars movie, and I go to see it expecting episode 8, I suppose, since I don't know anything else. So that's what we're going to do. And again, the concept is that I don't know anything except what has happened in the movies. No extended universe, no previous editions, just the official Star Wars editions. And I'm going in cold to Rogue One. I'm not going to call it Rogue One a Star Wars story because nowhere in the film does it say a Star Wars story. So we start off without a crawl, no explanation. I shouldn't say crawl. I'm dumb. There's just no text. There's no words up there on the screen telling me what's going on. Although I do always love those planets, man. Those planet scenes are also cool. They always start with something like that. First, I think this is Tatooine, except it's got too much water. So it's not a desert. They do have blue milk, though, as we'll find out. So it's confusing. Did Tatooine get water now? I don't know. Shuttle shows up, kind of looks Empire-ish, so I'm assuming these are bad guys. And then a bunch of Black Trooper Captain Phasma type people show up. Whole bunch of Phasmas. This desert planet is definitely not desert, though. It's wet as all get out. And this guy in a white cape shows up. And he confronts a bunch of people dressed like Jedi. They mention the Force, so I'm going to assume these are Jedi. White cloth guy says, I'm gonna make you come with me. And then the child runs away, and then he shoots the lady Jedi, and I guess he takes the other guy. We just go follow the child, though. Runaway child is saved by a mechanical guy who we actually saw briefly. I sort of recognized, like, oh, that was the guy on the screen earlier. So he saves the girl. I guess this is about the girl. So the next thing we see is the girl all grown up. And she's got a gross roommate with a bunch of tentacles for a face. And, we see one of these guys walk by. It's Prison. The white metal clone trooper guy walks by. So this is an Empire prison. Okay. Cool. And then suddenly we're with 2 other guys, and I have no idea where we are. I was starting to think maybe I knew what was going on, but no. Who are these 2 guys? They mention a planet killer weapon. Aha. So he's a bad guy because he shoots the other guy. Now he's on the run from the trooper guys, but he must be a bad guy because, I mean, the good guys just don't kill someone in cold blood like that. So we got two factions of bad guys. And then it looks like other bad guys have captured a pilot. So a bunch of very obviously bad guys capture a pilot who's trying to help. He's trying to turn in the Empire. So maybe these are double agents that captured him. And maybe they're with this bad guy, the other bad guy that shot the guy. Anyway, cool ruins, very Lord of the Rings. And then suddenly we're back with the criminal girl. And she's on a transport, and some guys are attacking. I can't tell if they're rebels or if they're bad guys. And I'm thinking there must be bad guys just because she fights them and escapes them. And then this robot turns up and says he's here to rescue her. And that sounds like good guys. So I'm really, really confused. He seems kind of like maybe a bad guy, and he's got an Empire logo on him. So bad guys. So now I'm back to bad guys. Anyway, so the bad guys capture criminal girl. Then we're off to a planet that looks very much like a planet I've seen before somewhere, and it had good guys on it. So I think this is a base from one of the earlier episodes. So lost. So no idea what's going on. Then we see one of the senators from the Republic. She does not seem to have aged at all. So maybe we're still in Republic times? but they're called the Empire. They actually refer to the Empire, which if I'm remembering right, didn't come till later. But she's with the rebels. So the senator from the Republic is with the rebels. So I guess she switched sides. Is this the Dooku guy? Is this right? And I think she comes back. Anyway, hold on. The bad guy from earlier shows up. So we're with the rebels, but they're working with bad guys. So maybe they're not the real rebels. Okay, so they're recruiting the bad guy to help stop the planet killer. As bad as he is, they want him to do a good thing. That's all I've got to go on at this point. All right. Then there's another Republic guy. I think he's one of the guys from the end of one of the episodes. So these are Senate people. Really unclear when we are here. It's sometimes Senate era. And they're after, as far as I can tell, Criminal Girl's dad. So they want Criminal Girl to help them get to their dad. The bad guy has a Empire robot. That should be a giveaway that he's a bad guy. And they're going to kill. Then one of the rebel guys tells the bad guy to kill Criminal Girl's dad. So they're bad guys. They're bad guys, and they're trying to get Criminal Girl to help him go kill the guy behind her back. And bad guy doesn't trust Criminal Girl. Okay. Criminal Girl, though, she ain't no fool. She gets a gun. She gets her hands on a gun. Robot guy kind of complains about that, yeah? But you know what? Smart girl. And the robot's kind of funny, and she keeps the gun. So then we're taking off, and that tower guy definitely looks like good guy stuff from another episode. Anyway, off to more bad guys who look like the ones who got Criminal Girl, but they have the pilot. And now I'm really confused if those are really bad guys or if they're with the rebels and they have the pilot. Pilot's a mess either way. They take him to Mechanical Guy from earlier. He's the guy who saved Criminal Girl, so maybe he's with the good guys. Also, Mechanical Guy is on drugs. He's messed up, so maybe not. Finally, we just see a big Republic ship, and then we see an Empire ship, and then the planet station that got blown up. So it's being put together. I finally know when we are, because this one's all put together. We see it finished. And the second one never got finished because it was still under construction. So this is the first planet killer. And White Cape guy's there. So I know he's Empire. He's with the planet station killer guys. Okay. Flashback just to throw me off because I haven't quite figured out who's who. They take me to Criminal Girl and her dad meeting with White Cape guy. So maybe she's bad. Maybe he's bad. Maybe her dad's bad. Dad calls Criminal Girl Stardust. That must be her name. So we're going to call her Stardust. And so then they finally land. And no one ever lands near where they're going. I don't quite understand that. Just land nearby, and then you don't have to walk so far. Stardust, Criminal, and Empire Robot start joking around. So they seem like they're getting along. Then we cut away. Lots of scenes going on to the pilot and the big octopus. Mechanical Guy. Definitely crazy. Says that the octopus is going to stop the pilot from telling lies. Okay. The Empire shows up in Jedi City. Now, I recognize that guy in the city they bumped into, but I don't know from where. Is he like a bounty hunter or something? Anyway, there's an advertisement for the pilot being put out. And, of course, clone troopers galore everywhere. The bad guy, turns out, killed their contact's brother. So I'm pretty sure no matter what, he's telling senators and stuff that he's a bad guy. The rebels attack and the bad guy didn't know. So if they're rebels and he didn't know, another clue. And we know for sure that Stardust is good because she saves a little girl. So that's clearly like, okay, she good, no problem. Bad guy shoots a rebel. He's bad. All right, finally. So don't trust bad guy, Criminal Girl, Stardust Girl. He must be the rogue one because that's the name of this. I don't know, it's not an episode, this movie. He's the rogue one. All right. The rebels are trying to steal crystals. Maybe they're New Agers. And then Stardust shoots her friend. Robot. Oh, wait. It was just a robot that looked like her. There's a funny thing about that. Then they're captured by the Empire. So basically the trooper guys show up and capture them. And Empire robot, because he looks like a robot, tries to pretend like he's Empire, but he really sucks at it. He blows it. And then a blind guy shows up. He must be a Jedi because he does, even though he doesn't have a lightsaber, he fights like a Jedi. He talks like a Jedi, kind of like a Jedi. And he almost beats all of these trooper clones on his own. And thankfully he had a shooty friend at the end to finish him off. But I mean, basically it's a Jedi and a shooty friend, right? We've seen that before a lot. Then because bad guy shot a rebel, they get captured by the rebels. So that just pretty much confirms he's the bad guy. All right. Then for some reason, the Empire leaves the Jedi city. Why? I don't know. They scared off by the one blind Jedi and the shooty guy. I don't know. They just leave. Not sure why that happened. Okay. So the rebels take prisoners to Mechanical Guy. And this confirms it, right? Bad guy gets thrown in jail. He's trying to fool them, but they're not fooled. So he gets thrown in jail along with blind guy and shooty guy, because I guess they don't really know what side they're on. But Stardust, she gets taken to Mechanical Guy because he knows her and she's good. Okay, Stardust stays free. Rebels in here look mean. I'm just going to say, these are the nastiest looking rebels I've ever seen. Blind guy's chant is annoying. Maybe that's why he got thrown in jail. Okay, Mechanical Guy calls Stardust Jen. So maybe her name's Jen Stardust. And she's mad at Mechanical Guy because apparently he left her when she was a kid. Mechanical Guy's become super paranoid. Maybe it's a good thing that he left you when you were a kid, Jen Stardust. But Jen Stardust is done with all this. He's like, don't you want to fight the Empire? She's like, I don't know. Just, I don't know. I'm out of here. So we're back to the planet station. And at first I think we're at the rebel planet from earlier, but it turns out, no, we're at the planet with Jedi City. And then we're back downstairs. The pilot is in prison with the bad guy, the shooty guy, and the blind guy. Keeps saying he's a pilot. In case you weren't clear that he's a pilot, I'm very clear now that he's a pilot. And he makes sure we understand that. All right, back to Mechanical Guy and Jen Stardust. Dad sent a message. Okay, well, this is going to clear this up, which side he's on. Dad sabotaged the planet station so they can blow it up. He remembers a lot about Jen Stardust in this message, in case you were unclear about that. And the planet station is above, about to blow up Jedi City. And they have the message. They know how to destroy it. So I'm like, oh, okay. So this is going to be a mad dash to destroy it before it can destroy the Jedi City. So they run and they're too late. Well, it doesn't destroy the whole planet, but it does destroy the city. So they're going to have to get up there soon. That gives them a chance, right? That gives them a chance to get up there and destroy it. Mechanical Guy, as we said, crazy, decides not to go. But because everything's falling apart, the bad guy gets away. And he's got the ship, so Jen Stardust has to kind of go with him. She likes Empire Robot. So Jen Stardust, Empire Robot, pilot, bad guy, blind guy, and shooty guy all get into the ship. And it turns out that they get all upset. Well, bad guy does. He gets upset at Jen Stardust because she didn't bring the message. And I'm like, well, if you were a good guy, you just trust her. You don't have to see the message. They all know Dad sent the message. So he's still going to kill Jen's dad because he's a bad guy. Otherwise, he wouldn't care about proof. So they head to Eadu or someplace like that. Pilot seems better now. Not quite as crazy. Octopus must not be that bad. Bad guy, of course, lying to Jen. And then we find out that White Cape guy is going to Eadu. I thought they were going to go upstairs and try to blow up the planet station, but bad guy kind of stopped them from that. So now they're going to Eadu because that's where he can kill Jen's dad. White Cape guy's going there too, so it looks like we're headed towards a showdown. Empire Robot is the pilot now because pilot's kind of messed up, and he is a crap pilot. They crash. So bad guy goes out, as we know, to kill Jen's dad. Blind guy knows about this. Robot kind of knows about this. So Jen gets it and goes to stop bad guy and save dad. And so I'm thinking, okay, bad guy's going to off the pilot now because they're out alone. And the pilot's the one who had the message from dad. But then the blind guy heads out and he gets shooty guy to follow him. So I'm like, oh, are they going to stop bad guy? And then I see shooty aiming, and I'm not really sure who he's aiming at. Then Robot says that if bad guy comes back without them, he's going to leave after everybody leaves. But I'm not sure how he's going to leave because the ship crashed. They need a new ship, I think, right? Anyway, White Cape guy gets Dad to admit he sent the message. Dad's in trouble. White guy has the phasmas that come with him everywhere, kill all the workers anyway. So there's no doubt that he's the bad guy. And bad guy, meanwhile, is trying to get a clear shot at Dad. And it's like, well, he's going to take care of it. What do you need to even be there for? Like maybe some communication here. Then Jen Stardust starts climbing up to get to Dad. And you're like, uh-oh, maybe he's going to shoot Jen Stardust. Now, suddenly he stops. He has crisis of conscience. So without much explanation, bad guy says, no, I can't shoot Jen Stardust. I'm reformed now. But the other bad guy that told him to kill Dad, who's secretly part of the rebels, sends the rebel fleet in and they start shooting everything up. Even though bad guy said, don't do that. The bad guy back at base said, well, I can't stop him. All right. So now everything is a mess. Of course, White Cape guy gets shot, but he's not dead, apparently. Blind guy turns out has a weapon after all. It like shoots laser bolts like an arrow or something. I'm wondering why he didn't use that earlier in the city against the clone troopers, but whatever. And Jen gets stunned by the jet blast. Why doesn't that happen more often? You see people chasing after ships in this show all the time. You think they would get on the wrong side of that blast and get knocked over. Well, it happens to her. She gets knocked out. Then she gets back up. Well, I guess she doesn't get knocked out. She just gets back up. And Jen Stardust and her dad reunite. Aww. And then Dad dies. Oh, even worse. So then it's time for Jen Stardust to run. And guess who saves her? Reformed bad guy. Maybe he's becoming good. Some nice work by Shooty Guy. Somehow Robot met up with the pilot and stole a ship that looks like the White Cape guy's ship. I guess White Cape guy is trapped now. They stole his ship, or I don't know. Either way, Jen Stardust finally, because she figured out that bad guy wanted to kill her dad, is pretty pissed. And the rebels did kill her dad because they came in and shot up the place. So she's like ultra done. She was done with everybody before. She's extra done with them now. All right. Then we cut to what looks like their ship flying to a volcano. And then we see some guy in a robe. And then we find out that White Cape guy is here. So I guess it's White Cape guy's ship. I'm a little confused by that. And then looky who shows up. Anakin Vader lives in a volcano now. Makes sense, I guess. He got all messed up in a volcano. White Cape guy wants Vader to talk to the Emperor for him. Kind of a roundabout way of going about things. I try to get to the Emperor, I guess. But, they got these guys hanging around. So I guess it's hard to get to the Emperor, even though even Anakin Vader has a couple of those. Anakin is smart. He says, look, you need to make sure Dad didn't sabotage the planet station. Also, I'm going to choke you and make a pun. All right, back to the rebels, who obviously, okay, this is the pinnacle point, right? Are these the real rebels? Because if they are, when Jen Stardust comes back and says, hey, I know how to blow up the planet station, they'll say, great, how do we do it? But instead, they're arguing about it. Another senator from the Republic shows up. He wants to give up. They shout him down. Jen Stardust gives the speech of her life. Here we go. Rebels never give up. Or do they? Not even a vote. Who are these people? These are definitely not the rebels. I don't know who these people are. Okay. So she just has to leave. And remember, she just said she didn't really care about any of them anyway. So I guess it was like, well, you know what? I need to give it a try because I'm good. I'm very clearly good. I'm going to give it a try. It doesn't matter. Okay, I'm out of here. Suddenly, a reformed bad guy has a crew of other mean-looking guys who apparently assassinate people, and he wants her to go steal the plans. This guy just likes breaking rules. She's like, we should steal the plans. The rebel people say no. She's like, oh, okay. And then bad guy's like, oh, when we're supposed to be good, I'm bad. So being good would be not stealing the plans. So I'm bad. So steal the plans with me. And then I can be reformed bad guy. I don't know, Jen Stardust. I wouldn't trust the guy. Anyway, bad guy, kind of a sucky soldier. Never follows orders. Then he gets all these big hulking guys to fit in this one stolen ship. They ask for a call sign. Pilot is there. He's piloting again, thankfully, since Imperial robot ain't good. They make up the Rogue One call sign, except there is no such call sign, but they needed to explain why the movie was named Rogue One. So there you go. Meanwhile, the senators, the two senators, the woman and the man, are planning something. They're just choppa. All right. They show up at Beach Planet, and they got to get through the gate. There's a gate to the planet, I guess. I guess it's like the second Death Star when they had to get to the moon. Remember, they had to give the password and then they flow through. Anyway, it works. The Empire has lousy security. Anyone can just fly in with a stolen password. Then Jen Stardust starting to get good at these pep talks. She gives another one to these guys, and they land, and it's time for inspection. So you're going to get, a bunch of these kind of folks, the Imperial folks, walking on inspecting the ship. Now, the pilot is Empire, so that helps. He can play it off like he never left the Empire. This is kind of like when the Falcon ship was on the Planet Killer, and they attack the guys and steal the clothes. So these guys go up, the Empire guys go up into the ship, and out comes Jen Stardust in some rockin' black gear and reformed bad guy dressed up as one of the Empire guys. I think it's a little odd that nobody notices that this guy suddenly has a beard when he boarded the ship. But anyway, they don't notice. Robot has a bad feeling, and they tell him to shut up, which was funny. And just a moment to say, well done, Empire, placing your archives in a beach. Good sighting. Then they say they need a map. I don't know why. Nobody ever seems to need a map in these shows, but okay. The rebel troops or the bad guy troops or the Gen troops all get out of the ship pretty sneakily. That works well. And then guess who's always around? White cape guy shows up. We're gonna have another showdown here, aren't we? Yeah. So robot is like totally sucking the brains out of another robot, I guess, to get the map. Mentions they have a 33% chance of survival because of the troopers. So, of course, they signal for their troops to attack. The rebel troops, I guess they're rebel troops, attack. And then all of the clone troopers leave. And so that leaves everything open. Now, the attack starts. That gets White Cape's attention. Blind guy has his arrow gun around. Still wonder why he never used that in Jedi City. And Planet Killer Death Star Station coming to the battle. And suddenly now, not this guy, but somebody who looks like this guy, fish head guy, decides that they're going to join the attack. Now, really? You suddenly decide? It's the worst rebellion ever. They have no control over themselves. Should have gone in the first place. Okay, and then real quick, we get Golden Robot and R2. So just a cameo, I guess. They're like, oh, it's weird that we never know what's going on. That's because the rebellion can't figure out itself. Pilot, go back to the beach planet. Pilot giving bad info to the Empire. Very smart. Jen and the bad guy, I guess reformed bad guy, make it to the archive. Robot is helping them find the plans. Rebel diversion now is a bit outnumbered, and there are those walkie things coming. But thankfully, the Rebel fleet arrives, and it starts to look like the attack on the Death Stars. At least some ships get through to get down to the planet and help. The rest of them are buzzing around with the Empire ships. And then we find out that the shield has been closed. The gate has been closed. So Jen Stardust can't leave with the plans. She's going to need to transmit them. But she can't transmit them with the shield up, so she needs to get the shield down. But if they brought the shield down, couldn't they just leave? I mean, she can't leave because the shield's down, so she needs to transmit, but she can't transmit because the shield's down. So the whole thing is just get the shield down, and then she'll leave with the plans however she can. I'm a little confused. Anyway, Rebel signal is blocked. So to contact the rebellion, I guess they don't need the shield down to send a signal to the Rebel fleet. But by now, the troopers have figured this out, and they're starting to shoot. So Robot locks Jen and reformed bad guy inside. Really bad at lying, this robot. Just decides to shoot the troopers. And the fleet is attacking the ships rather than the gate. You think they'd want to attack the gate anyway, because some of their ships went down to the surface. But the small ships are attacking, and they are attacking the shield. So why don't we just wait for the shield to come down? Why do we need the transmission so bad? Anyway, robot pretty cool under fire. I'm going to give him that. Okay, for some real reason, we need transmission. I guess it's a good option. And the pilot's cable is not long enough. We've all been there. Great moment for sysadmins in film. Meanwhile, Stardust is looking for her file, and she finds it because it's named Stardust, and that's her. Then back to the pilot. He's busted. They figure out he's been fooling them, and he gets saved by a rebel ship. Then the Empire robot sacrificing himself and just going down with the ship. So the pilot got plugged in. He got the message out. Jen and the bad guy find the tape, but now they have to climb up because with the robot sacrificing himself, they can't go back out that way. I hope he can be repaired, actually. I mean, he is a robot. White Cape guy now coming after them personally. And then we get a bunch of great battle scenes. White Cape guy's phasmas join in and start turning the tide against the rebels. Jen and the bad guy start climbing without a safety rope. That's very dangerous. Oh, and I said the pilot guy gets his message out, but it was at this point that they need the master switch shown. He's plugged in, but he hasn't set the message. He needs the master switch thrown for some reason. Meanwhile, back to Jen Stardust, who gets the tape because it's on tape. Even though they have to transmit it, they need a tape. And White Cape is there. And then we're back to Blind Guy marching out to turn the master switch on. Well done. White Cape shoots the bad guy and he falls. So now he can't suddenly turn around and betray. And it's pretty much White Cape guy versus Jen Stardust. Okay. Jen Stardust keeps climbing. We go back to Blind Guy who threw the master switch. He gets blown up. So good guys are dying down there. Shooty Guy, who was friends with Blind Guy, goes crazy now, goes on a rampage. The battle is going badly, but the master switch got thrown. So the pilot gets the message to Admiral Radish, the fish guy, Admiral. He has the idea to take down the shield. Oh, really? Probably should have been doing that anyway. Then the pilot gets blown up. So now we're losing everybody. Shooty Guy, during his rampage, he gets killed. Not sure he did much good, but he went out trying. And then back to Jen Stardust, who has to jump through an inexplicably chopping round gate. Reminds me of something Luke did once. Then a rebel ship goes and rams into an Empire ship up above to try to take down the gate. Jen Stardust gets to the top of the tower where she can transmit. They really need better connectivity at the archives. Puts in the tape. Oh, but the antenna needs readjustment. It's always something. We've all been there. Meanwhile, White Cape guy, he can take the elevator because he's not locked in. Jen adjusts the antenna, almost gets shot down by a ship. On the walk back, barely makes it. And when she gets to the transmit button again, because the antenna was down far away, White Cape guy is there. His elevator stops, but he arrives anyway. He asks Jen who she is. She says her name. He says he's about to kill her. It doesn't matter what her name is. And guess who survived and shows up and shoots White Cape guy in the back? It's reformed bad guy. He's definitely reformed now. We're just call him reformed guy. Meanwhile, an Empire ship has crashed into another Empire ship because of getting rammed, and now that crashes into the shield gate. That brings down the shield gate, so good timing. Jen Stardust can transmit the plans. The plans show up on Fish Guy's ship. White Cape guy is down, and Jen Stardust very reasonably wants to finish him off. And reformed guy says, hey, no, we're better than that now. We don't do that anymore. We're the good guys. Look at that. A redemption story. Finally, the Planet Killer Death Star station finally arrives. And Anakin Vader is referred to as being able to take care of the ships. So Planet Station's going to blow up something on the surface. Anakin Vader's going to take down the other ships. It's looking bad for the rebels. And then the Planet Station Death Star targets its own archives. I mean, it doesn't blow up the whole planet, but it just like, oh, I guess they're properly backed up somewhere else, right? So, okay. The elevator's working now, apparently. So the Jen Stardust and Reformed guy go downstairs. White Cape guy lifts his head and sees the planet station up in the sky that he helped build. And then you hear, "You may fire when ready." And they blow up the archives, blowing up White Cape guy, blowing up Jen Stardust. And he was just reformed. He just got reformed. She's our hero. Boom. Dead. So then the rebels are leaving because they can't do anything anymore about the planet. They've got the plans. There's no rescue for people down there. And an Empire ship shows up and stops Fish Guy's ship. And guess who's going to board? Anakin Vader. This is what they were talking about. Anakin Vader's going to take care of the ships. All right. Meanwhile, we find out that Jen and Reformed guy haven't died yet. They are waiting on the beach to die. And we see a flash of light, and we can only assume that they're dead. So that was sad. Goodbye, Reformed guy. You barely got your reformed. But the plans are downloaded on a disk, which they are running with to somewhere. A door jams, and I'm screaming, just hand it through. Don't try to fix the door. There's a gap and a guy on the other side. Anakin Vader arrives and does Anakin-style saber fight. He's winning. Guy finally, when he's the last one standing, hands over the disc through the door at the last minute. There's more running, runs onto a ship, which was secretly hidden in the Fish Guy's other ship. That takes off right before Anakin Vader can get there, and they go running through the ship with the plans, and they hand them to Leia. And she's wearing white, so I know for sure when this all takes place. And she utters one word, hope, which is the name of episode 4, A New Hope. So I guess this is really episode 3.5 when you think about it that way. Very confusing, Star Wars people, very confusing. But overall, I had a good time. And there you go, folks. That is Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars Rogue One style. This is not episode 8 of Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars any more than it is episode 8 of Star Wars. This is Pretend I'm Dumb About Star Wars Rogue One story or something like that. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe at tommerritt.com, PIDASW, to the audio version, or subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/acedetect, to get these on the videos. And of course, big thanks to the Andrew Allen Trio, the makers of the fine Star Wars theme that we play on this show. And you got to check out all of his stuff at andrewallentrio.com. He's got Star Wars songs. He's got Star Trek songs. He's got all kinds of stuff. Thanks for watching. And thanks for listening. We'll be back again next year with episode 8, whatever they decide to call it. Talk to you then.